Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Introspection. I'm your host, Amy Lindner Lesser, and I'm glad that you joined us today. I have a fascinating guest on the show today, a co-author of The Grief Experience, which was the most recent book that I wrote a chapter for. Her name is Jean Trewhella, and Jean studied at Antioch College, and she was studying physics, a pretty heavy topic or subject. And back then, she learned that dance helped her sort of relieve some of the stress from the heavy coursework. And it was creative, it was intuitive embodiment, which I love, and it gave her the foundation for body awareness. And she learned about the Alexander technique, modern dance, and improvisational performance art. She's studied a lot in leadership and diversity and works in driving change as a leader of the IBM Research Diversity Council, president of the IEEE, Electronic Packaging Society, and as a speaker on diversity and inclusion in engineering. And even with all of that technical background, Jean has found a creative outlet as well as therapeutic in journey dance. And that's what she does in her free time near the Saratoga area, where she has a studio in Malta and teaches from her studio, as well as presenting for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, Long-Term Loss Survivors Conference, the Princeton Theological Society, their conference, Women in Ministry, and at Wellspring Domestic Violence Support Center. Help me welcome Jean to our studio to talk today about journey dance and how it helps or can help people who are grieving. Welcome to Introspection, the podcast about moving from grief to growth. I'm Amy Lindner Lesser, your host. Introspection started out as a podcast about hospitality, innkeeping, and innkeepers. After about a year, I realized that my life and interests have morphed from hospitality to helping others navigate from grief and loss to growth and living. In this new version of Introspection, I will be talking about my personal experiences with loss, and there are quite a few, what I've learned along the way through my professional training, as well as from my coaching experiences. I'll also be bringing in guests to share interesting ideas. So grab a beverage, find a comfy place, take a deep breath, and listen in. Hi, Jean. Welcome. And I see you're at your studio. And the first thing that I think of is how beautifully bright and airy and colorful it is. And most of us, when we're going through grief, tend to move, if not physically, definitely emotionally, in the other direction. You know, I joke on my website saying, you're not ready to work with me if you like to wear black too much. And, you know, it's meant tongue in cheek, but it's true. You know, grief is a heavy emotion and color is hard. So I want to start with asking how you got into journey dance.
So, as you said in my introduction, I've done dance ever since college, but I was studying to be at Kripalu to be a trained journey dance facilitator. And that's when I was studying, that was when I had my personal grief experience. And dance really helped me a lot in doing that. So if I launch right into my...
Please do, as long as you're comfortable sharing. I think our viewers and listeners would like to hear your story.
Great. So thanks. Yeah, so I'm a mother of two, and when I was studying my journey dance at Kripalu, I was in like the fifth day of a week long workshop, and I got that dreaded phone call that my child had taken their life. It was, I don't want to say unexpected. I mean, that one exact time was unexpected, but they had struggled, and my child was non-binary, so used they, them pronouns. They had been struggling since they were 8 years old. And so when I got the call, I was, told this time they didn't make it. And I was really held by my journey dance tribe, the people who were studying with me. We had been sharing and growing and connecting all week long and being open and vulnerable with our emotions. And then here I was in what was, some of the deepest emotions I've ever felt. Like I said, they were there for me. I took that as a sign, I guess. It really helped, it helped a lot that I got the news that day. There was actually an Episcopal priest who happened to be in the class, and I'm an Episcopalian, so I was able to ask her immediately, what did I do wrong? Am I at fault? What could I have done? And, she was able to be there and console me. I was able to cry. I was able to move. They were able to hold me. And I really feel like higher power had me in that space because that was the space where I would be able to hear this tragic news and be as centered as I could. And then I did continue to dance. I basically danced every single week on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and worked through my grief and my loss of Ty through the dance. On Tuesdays, I would go back to Kripalu and I would do journey dance, which is a guided dance. It's completely free form in that you can move however your body is telling you to move. You're listening intuitively to yourself. There's no judgment at all. There's no right step or wrong step, but it is a guided visualization and like a meditation in your body. And so I met with Ty on the dance floor many times and walked through some transformative experiences while I was dancing. And then on Thursdays, I would do an ecstatic dance, which has no guidance at all. It's just completely free. There's an hour of music. And that gave me time to process in my body again what had come up on Tuesdays. And so I did that. And my grief, it was there, but I felt like I had Ty with me, and I felt like I could let the grief move with me. I didn't feel bound and stuck. And when I did, I could move into that binding and get sad and mad. And I had an outlet. So that's what got me into really, really doing the dance as a practice that I do all the time.
I think that it was not a coincidence that you were at Kripalu in that community and learning journey dance. I mean, that's something nobody ever wants, that knowledge, that information that their child or any loved one has died by suicide. However, to be able to be in a group that doesn't need to be told, no judgment, open, that they knew how to help you be you and to process. I think journey dance, I don't know anything about ecstatic, so you're going to have to to tell us a little bit about that. I have to admit, my mother was a modern dancer and forced me to take modern dance for many years. And so I went 180 degrees in the other direction. I dance with my finger. Oops, you can't see it on camera. That's what I do. I have rhythm, but I won't get up and dance because I judge myself. It seems that it's very similar to what happens with Reiki, that you're moving the stuck emotions and feelings. One is in an active way with dance, and the other is somebody or you helping to move the energy. It is the body that's holding those emotions. And we know that you've got to get them out. If they don't go out, they then make somebody else sick, like you.
Like you or somebody close to you. Yes, you.
The emotions have to go somewhere. Now you're doing journey dance and are you also teaching?
I'm also doing ecstatic. Yes, I'm still actually doing journey dance every Tuesday and ecstatic dance every Thursday, even though it'll be 7 years that since Ty passed, and I'm inviting people in to do my practice with me, and I built this studio, so I will guide people through the journey dances, and I'll also do workshops with people who are grieving. And on Thursday nights, we have an open dance, and people can just come and whatever they're going through, because dance isn't only about loss and grief. It's, it's joy. It's also, all kinds of struggle. Like I said, before Ty died, I was doing it just because it was helping me with stress and with PTSD and things. So it's really a magical thing when you can let go in a safe space. I have no mirrors in here on purpose because I want people to tune into themselves. I dance with my eyes closed almost the entire class. So I'm not watching people and saying, you're doing this right or wrong. I'm just guiding people through their own experience. And that's what I love about the journey dance when I guide it. Is it's not about me as a facilitator telling somebody, you should be feeling this now, you should be feeling that. It's all about an invitation to let whatever you're feeling come out in a safe space for you to work through it. You don't have to tell me. It's not, we do so much talking. You can show me, you show other people how you're feeling. You go closed, you go open, and you express these things without words. And it just, all I can say is it helps a lot. And then people have that tool that they can use, in other ways as well. So
do you use music for both? Or when you're doing journey and you're guiding, sort of like a guided meditation that you said, are you doing it accompanied to music or?
Yes, I do it accompanied to music. I make a very carefully crafted playlist. My playlists don't use any negative imagery because it's not about trying to get people just to feel something, right? It's about easing. So it starts with a very slow grounding, like a Native American flute, or a very light, a very nice bass drumming, so that you can connect into the earth, and then kind of, moves up through the chakras. You get to have a little bit of playfulness in the dance, where there's usually something that's got a good rhythm, a good beat. And I often will work with positive reinforcement, like saying, you are amazing. And people say, thank you very much. And you just get that experience of connecting with somebody eye to eye and dancing silly with them. And then that kind of gets people, they're grounded, then they're like having fun and being like, oh, I can do this. And then it goes into more of the evocative emotions where we'll walk through and maybe go meet our spiritual guide, or shed a skin like a snake sheds their skin, or we break out of the box, we create a box, and we then tear our way out of it, but some kind of evocative emotion. And again, you can bring whatever it is that's coming up for you into the dance. It's an open palette, really. And the next thing that we do is whatever we're letting go of, we transform that into something beautiful. We look for something that we want to have bring into our lives. And we do a heart dance and a celebration dance and a prayer dance. And then we close with the Shavasana. So it does have a very purposeful flow. You know, if anybody's heard a good tune, I mean, that does get you moving, you know, and you can connect to it. So
that's wonderful. And you can see the joy that it brings you as you're talking about it.
Life quakes or life transitions and the aftershocks that follow are something we all experience. A life quake can stem from the heartbreaking grief that arises from the loss of a loved one, or the disorientation felt when life suddenly shifts due to the loss of a job, relationship, identity, or health challenge. Learning to navigate these transitions with mindfulness, grace, and self-compassion is the key to finding your way back to joy, happiness, and inner peace. Advanced Grief Recovery Method Specialist and Certified Life Transition Coach Amy Lindner Lesser, MSW, expertly supports clients to navigate their life quakes and transitions with warmth, kindness, and grace. Learning to accept support as you navigate your way through the aftershocks is one of the most powerful gifts you can give yourself. Learn more at introspection.com. That's introspection.com.
I know we've talked and you said that anybody can do it. You don't need to have a right foot and a left foot. You don't even need 2 feet. You can do it in a chair. You can do it standing. You can do it, I'm guessing, sitting on the floor and dancing, or...
Yes, absolutely. I mean, the grounding work, we tend to do that actually as floor dancing, but you can do the whole dance sitting in a chair. I've danced with people who are in wheelchairs. It's really about letting the motion happen however your body is asking you to move. And your body is not going to ask you to move in a way that you can't move. You know what I mean? So if you're really listening and tuned in, you can move and dance just through your shoulders, if that's so. Yes, you don't, and you certainly don't have to be coordinated, or the dances could be your finger. You could do the whole dance and just have it be your finger. It's really magical that way. And I often call it movement rather than dance, because people are afraid of the word dance. They think, oh, I can't dance. In fact, anything is dance. Any movement we do is dance. And that's the way that I look at life.
And I love how you, as a very scientific, technical person, has found a way to balance yourself out. Maybe this is a stereotype, but when you look at typical engineers and scientists, they don't move a lot. They're not necessarily conscious of their bodies at all. My stepfather and my father was a pharmacist. My stepfather was a biochemical engineer. And, he couldn't tell you what hurt. He just knew he hurt. But he had no concept of his body. So if he could have done this when he was going through physical therapy, we had to put a mirror in front of him so he could see to straighten up and have his back straight, or to breathe. He had just no understanding.
Yeah, it takes practice. It takes practice to be in our bodies, and it does balance me. There's no doubt about it. My day job is, sitting at a computer most days. I mean, that's what I'm doing, and talking with people. But it's really, anybody can connect internally to themselves. It just takes time and practice. And once you can, I think it helps with your well-being all around. because you can tell when something hurts and you can kind of move into it as opposed to favoring one leg because the other one, and then you get kind of a crick in this leg. And if you're I don't want to say constantly, but if you're consciously taking a scan of your body a few times a day, you can notice, oh, I'm a little bit off this way. Isn't that interesting? So I'll stretch a little more this direction and just see, what's going on here. Yeah, I know it's unusual for an engineer, but it is what's kept me sane all these years. And I think it really can help people of, in all walks of life. It just takes a little time getting used to knowing who you are.
I love that you mentioned that you danced and connected with Ty while you were doing this. And I think for so many people, being able to connect with their loved ones who, as one of my friends says, are more than alive. That's her term for when people have passed away. And I love it because in many ways they are more than alive. Their spirits can go anywhere. They're freer than we are because we are reduced to where our bodies can go.
Yeah, so I do call in energy a lot in the dance, and I will call into ancestors or people we've lost and, just invite them into the dance. When you're really connected to yourself, you're more connected to the energy around you than you are to the physical place, if that makes any sense. So I think it allows the, spirits to come in and connect with you much more readily because you're connected to you more readily. You can let them in. And yeah, so I've definitely danced with Ty many, many, many times. Sometimes I call Ty in and sometimes Ty just shows up. When Ty first died, I held my body. Ty had fibromyalgia, so they couldn't really dance that much themselves, and the right side of their body was stiffer. And I would actually dance as if I was them and try to put myself into that body to draw them to me. And that's something that I will do with my, people I'm working with who are grieving sometimes, if, when they're ready, is to really try to connect with their person that they've lost.
That just gave me the chills. Thinking about my mother and her dancing, and she taught. She had a PhD in geriatric dance movement and had a book, and back in those days, a record, actually 2 records of that she used working with activity aids in nursing homes. And it was on your feet or in your seat. And so I could see her doing that. I may be in a seat, but I will be there.
Yes.
Do many of the participants close their eyes also?
Yes.
A lot of people bumping into each other, or
no, people, yeah, they sense each other. If you're going to do a big motion, you just naturally will open up your eyes. I think we do sense each other. And the other thing is, I do say at the beginning of my classes, if you bump into somebody, say hello. It's a happy connection. It's not, but yeah, I think people don't tend to bump into each other. I think people are noticing, they notice where everyone is. And we dance with scarves. You'll see the scarves on the back of the wall. Those are usually done during our, the heart dance or the celebration. We'll bring out the scarves, and that helps really bring your dance out into the air. The energy flows more easily when you have a scarf moving around with you. So I'd love to introduce new people to it who don't think they can, and then they get, connected to themselves in a whole new way.
It's emotionally healthy and it's physically healthy. So it's a good way to get your movement in if you have a sedentary job like many of us.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the other reason I liked to do it is I don't like gyms. I don't run. So it's a way that I can get some exercise and really enjoy myself and have fun. I there's no reason why you can't have fun exercising. You can get your heart rate up, and it is emotionally very, very healthy. I have a lot of people who come in and say they've never felt so comfortable. So that's telling me I'm doing something right. So
that's a wonderful compliment. For people who are in your area, which is the Saratoga area, they can find you at Malta Commons, right? Is that the right name?
Malta Commons, Suite 10 Malta Commons. It's very easy to find. And my website is www.movement-insights.com. They can sign up for my classes on that. And
we will have that in the notes. We'll put all of those in the notes. Also, I just want to remind people that Jean's chapter, which way, is in this book. I believe you're the last chapter.
I'm chapter 25. Yep. Moving Through Grief, chapter 25.
And for people who are not in this area, I mean, obviously they can come up and stay at Home 2 Suites right across from you. Or should they contact Kripalu?
No, they can contact me because I actually do these online. So I also do Zoom classes. Many of the classes I will do on Zoom as well.
Other than contacting you, and by the way, in the book, there is one of your meditations for dance. Is that?
Yeah, there's a link. There's a tool which is the dance. So you can read through that, or you can go onto the website, and there's a short 5-minute experience that you can try. And I'll talk you through a dance experience as part of the Grief Experience Conference. There's an hour-long journey dance that is part of the Grief Experience Conference if people are interested in that.
Would you suggest doing the short experience first to wet your feet?
Frankly, I would suggest that people just come and see me, because if they can, if they're here, I would suggest that. But if they're nervous, they could just do the short one on my website. It's 5 minutes, and they get to see what it's like.
So you do a Tuesday and a Thursday.
Yes, and Sundays.
And Sundays. So if somebody's coming up here and they could be from New York City or New Jersey, there's lots to do up here, especially in the summer, because Saratoga Springs is right there. And there's the horse races, there's dance, there's all kinds of exciting things and concerts and
the Philharmonic. Yes, it's wonderful. So exactly, they could come to a class on Sunday at it's from 1:00 usually, but it's always on my website what it is. And I do have day-long workshops sometimes. So if somebody is going to want to make the trip, that might make it more worthwhile for them to come for a whole week. I mean, a whole day workshop instead of just an hour.
And if somebody would be interested in having you come and do a workshop or something at a retreat, is that something that you would be interested in doing?
Okay. Yes, they should definitely contact me and ask me. It's a really nice way to add to your workshop. So whatever the theme of your workshop is, I can do a journey dance around that theme to help people connect in a different way to whatever it is that you focus on during the conference.
I could see it being very useful for a whole lot of retreats, not necessarily on grief.
Exactly.
Jean, thank you so much.
You're welcome. I was just the last thing I was going to say is it's also can just be for fun. You can have a birthday party here. You can have, if you get 6 or 7 of your friends to come in, and we'll do a dance, and it's a different way to have a birthday party or a baby shower even. It's very accessible, and it's different than going out to a restaurant, and just everybody sits. You get to actually interact with your people and experience something different. So
I really appreciate this, and I know it's going to be fascinating to the viewers and listeners.
Yes. Well, I hope it was really fun, and I hope people come in and visit me and join me. I thank you, Amy.
Thank you. lesser. Thanks